The Mets' bullpen depth has gotten even stronger as they acquire Jeff Brigham and Elieser Hernandez from the Marlins in exchange for minor leaguer Franklin Sanchez. So let's discuss the negatives and the positives. Let's break down this trade.
On 3-2, Vader swings and misses, strike three. He struck him out. 5 big pitchers combined for the second no-hitter in New York Mets history.
So going along with what I've been preaching so far, the Mets need to aim younger with pitching past the 1 and 2 in the starting rotation. So far, that's what they've looked to be doing with these depth additions. Taylor Saucedo is 29, Steven Ridings is 27, and Jeff Brigham is 30, Elieser Hernandez is 27. So it looks like they're going for a lot more of a younger approach for the bullpen.
You look at guys like Lugo, Ottavino, May, all north of 30. Depth is key for pitching and bullpen. We wanted the Mets not to play 26 to 26, that we want a very reliable group of players on that 40-man roster, and both of these guys were just DFA'd, and both have minor league options. Do not have to be guaranteed MLB roster spots right away. You can store them in Syracuse, and just in case you go out and you add a couple relievers, they get injured. Now the Mets are building depth in AAA like we have clamored for, and it's younger than 30 years old. They're going with high upside guys in Ridings' case, and now with the 2 guys from Miami to add more depth in your rotation and your bullpen.
Now, as someone who has extreme PTSD from Brody Ball, let's answer this question that is extremely nerve-wracking. What did they give up? That would be Franklin Sanchez, 22 years old, 6'6", 183 pounds. He was an international minor league signing out of the Dominican Republic. He's a starter/reliever swingman for now, but it looks like he's going to be more of a reliever. He has live arm stuff, including a fastball that reaches 100 miles an hour and a mid-90s cutter. Big ground ball guy, above 50% at every level he's pitched, but he has massive control issues. Walking 16% of batters face in his minor league career, and also hitting 15 batters in 63 innings. I think we all know that I'm not losing sleep over this one, and neither should any of you.
When I saw the trade, it was on a prospect I was familiar with, so that's already a good start. But hopefully this guy doesn't turn out to be the second coming of Ricky Vaughn, and he comes out and wins the division and becomes generational 100-mile-an-hour flamethrower. But you're trading a 22-year-old high A pitcher for 2 guys that potentially can help you for the big leagues. So you're getting a couple of guys in their prime and turning one asset into 2 assets. I always love being on the benefit of, hey, you have an asset. If you can double it, I think that ends up doing pretty well. And the Mets need some pitching depth. Prospects are lottery tickets. Some hit and some flop.
But as for what they gave up, someone in low A, someone who's not highly regarded, not on their top 30, and also for someone who can't really reach the plate at all and is very wild, it's definitely a plus for me of a headache I do not want to face later down the line if he were to get up to the higher levels. Now let's talk about what we got in return. Jeff Brigham, he's 30 years old, 6 foot, 195 pounds. He's a former 4th-round pick by the Dodgers in 2014. He's a 2-pitch reliever with high-spin horizontal slider with ridiculous tunnel, and he complements it with a mid-90s fastball. Last year, he struck out 27.7% of batters in 24 innings pitched, with a 3.38 earned run average and a 3.65 fielding independent pitching. Definitely more of a fly ball pitcher, but his slider induces some of the softest contact in all of baseball, with a 22.2% hard hit rate and a -4 run value. You add on to that a good barrel suppressor with average command.
I think Brigham is probably the better piece of the 2. Said he could potentially be in your major league bullpen consistently. Maybe he's the Michael Givens replacement. I could potentially seeing Brigham slipping right into his role, that 6th inning guy. The Mets continue to like these 2-pitch pitchers, the fastball slider combos. So that looks like the Jeremy Hefner default, a quality middle reliever that you desperately need because, again, you right now have 5 empty spots in the bullpen. It's a close game. Maybe you trust me, pitches well, and he's just another quality arm in that pen.
And not only is he somewhat near his reliever prime, at age 30, he is going to be a free agent in 2026. So a lot of control years coming off of a guy who is eligible for arbitration this coming season. And he also has 2 minor league options as well. You can store him in AAA as major league ready depth. As for the other part in Elieser Hernandez, we've heard reports that he may be a replacement for Trevor Williams. Whether that makes me upset or not, I'd love to bring back Trevor Williams, but if he's a little too expensive for that swing swingman reliever role, and I also think that he'll market himself as a starter because he should. He had a great season this year. But I think that they need to add a little bit more of these Trevor Williams types of guys and not full on just rely on Elieser Hernandez. Now, he's 27 years old. He's 6'6", 214 pounds. He's a former international signing by the Astros out of Venezuela. He was selected by the Marlins in 2017 via the Rule 5 draft. He has pitched 287.2 major league innings, and it really has not gone the best for him. He has posted a 5.04 earned run average and a 6.40 fielding independent pitching in that span. He's a soft-tossing right-hander with well-rounded control as a 4-pitch swingman, fastball, slider, changeup, sinker. His command can be a problem at times as he tends to miss spots with his fastball and sinker that surrenders a lot of hard contact. Maybe there's something that they can unlock with Elieser Hernandez, but all I can say is that this cannot be it for versatile bullpen depth of guys who can start and come out of the bullpen. He cannot be the only piece that you replace Trevor Williams with. The thing about Trevor Williams is that he's quantity and quality at the same time. He can do millions of different things. So if you're going to replace Trevor Williams, you have to do it with quantity because Elieser Hernandez is not the best in quality-wise. He's still young. He maybe can turn into that, but he's the piece I'm not really that high on.
He's definitely going to be an option for the swingman role. Like you said, I hope it's not the only guy, but again, like I said in a previous video, I think Tyler McGill and David Peterson are going to be fighting for the Trevor Williams role next year. Hernandez will be the next version of kind of like Sean Reed Foley and Steven Nagosic. Maybe if he's stored down in AAA, you need an arm, he's the guy you bring up. Could be giving you quality innings. Again, he's not the greatest pitcher. And like you said, I hope this isn't the only guy they bring into that swingman role. We're sitting here on November 18th. We still got 4 months of the offseason to begin with. It's just another arm to have out there. It's better than Jared Eichhoff. It's better than Vance Worley.
There has been some reports about the possibility of Steven Nagosic and Sean Reed Foley that have both been eating innings for us whenever they were with us, that they could be non-tendered and then brought back. It's possible that maybe they could be some long relief options, maybe open a game or two for you, but I really want them to look a lot more into this area. One of our main rules is that if you think you have enough pitching, you don't. You never do. How do you grade this trade overall?
I'll give it a B, B-, turning one asset into two. Brigham can be a quality major league reliever, and then Hernandez, it's kind of a lottery ticket of potentially turning him into a quality swingman, or worst case, he just chills down in Syracuse, and if you need a spot start, you can call him up, and you need a pitching, so you took a guy in A+ ball and turned it into two, either AAA or big league.
I'll give this a B, very similar to what the Mets did with Steven Matz, turning a non-tender candidate into 3 possible quality relievers and then trading that off for a prospect. I really like this approach of going after young pieces. They have something in them that they see, and they can possibly turn them into options that are valuable on the major league roster. They have something specifically special with them, and they use them to their strengths.